You're watching The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ MV, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are The Breakfast Club. We, y'all.
You don't even know what that means, bro. Stop it. Today is National Indigenous People Day, so we have some Indigenous people here.
Oh, yeah. Some Native Americans here.
Everybody introduce themselves.
My name is Quese IMC. Come from the Skeety Pawnee and the Wolf Band of the Pawnee and the Nogazi Bear Clan of the Seminole.
How Mataki Api Chante Washte Nape Zapalo. My name is Nataanii Means. I'm Oglala Lakota, Umaha, and Dene.
I'm Floris Ptesan Standing Rock Nation.
I'm Washdewi Young, and I'm from Standing Rock, the home of Sitting Bull.
And my name is Yonasda Lonewolf. I'm Oglala Lakota, Native American, and African American.
Absolutely. Now, tell us what this National Indigenous People Day mean to y'all. And I love the fact that it falls on Christopher Columbus Day. We don't acknowledge Christopher Columbus. No.
Well, today is for me, I would say it's a day of reflection. Mm-hmm. Today is a day of honoring our ancestors that fought a good fight for all of us to be here. And Christopher Columbus, we know that didn't discover America.
Talking to the mic.
We know that Christopher Columbus didn't discover America, but today is a day of reflection, of honoring all of our ancestors that fought, when he came. Prior to Christopher Columbus, it was over 600 million indigenous people here. Today, according to the U.S. Census, it is about 7 million.
Damn, from 600 million to 7.
Yes.
The largest Holocaust in history of the world, man.
That doesn't seem to get talked about that much.
No, it doesn't. No, and what you learn in schools is exactly what we learn in our schools on the reservation, which is, to me, it's genocide of the mind. It's assimilation to the core, that you're teaching indigenous people the wrong history of their own history. So Christopher Columbus was the first transatlantic slave trader, and what people don't know is, a few years after coming to the Americas, he was imprisoned in Spain and shackled for his war crimes. And that's what people don't understand. And America celebrates, a genocidal maniac who raped and pillaged and, started the slave trade here in America.
Some of the first forms of biological weapons were used on the indigenous people of this land, and that was when they gave us the blankets, the smallpox blankets, measles, and that devastated our people. My tribe got reduced down to like almost 1,000 people out of tens and 20s of thousands, but that's the struggle of our people is survival, but through our spirituality we're still here.
Now let's talk about the reservation. I want to ask about that. It seems like Native Americans give the reservation away for people to use so they can get around some of the boundaries that they usually can't get around. Why is that? Whether it's for casinos, whether it's for other things, it just seems like those reservations are given away.
The United States has a trust responsibility to Native Americans, and those were founded in early Supreme Court decisions going back to the 1800s. And the trust responsibility is that the United States government deals with us as sovereign entities. That means that we are sovereign. We have our own nations. We have our own governments within the reservation. So it's not necessarily a way of going around it, but it's exercising that sovereignty because we are a nation of people. We're not subjects of the United States government.
Because I feel like they make a fortune off a lot of those casinos and a lot of those things that they have off the reservations, and I don't see it trickling it down to the Native Americans that possibly own those reservations or that are part of those reservations.
Well, if you look at the casinos on the East Coast, some of them are they do very well. They're lucrative, but as you move out west to where we're from, we're in rural populations, so we don't have that money. But the money that we do generate, we use for legitimate good purposes, healthcare, infrastructure, programs for our youth. But if we were located to, big metro areas, we would have access to that. So it's not all that it seems.
And y'all do everything on the reservation. You have your own school and your own education, everything. You have your own college, university on the reservation?
Yes, we do.
What does y'all history books teach y'all about Christopher Columbus?
Well, it depends on the curriculum. I know where I'm from. I grew up on the Navajo Nation. a place called Chinle, Arizona, and that's 2 hours from any kind of town with a supermarket or store. It's in the northeastern Arizona. They taught us the same thing. You know, Christopher Columbus came over. This is mid 2000s. I was learning this, you know, and they came over. He came over, did his thing, and now we have presidents. You know, that's the history we learned in the 2000s. This is the 21st century here, and this is a school of 1,500 Navajo people learning this history in textbooks. You know, we're a small little paragraph in a whole textbook of the history of Americas. When our history is the history of the Americas. You know, we're the guilty conscience of this government here, and we're out of sight, out of mind, pushed to the middle of the reservations, and it's really sad what's happening.
Did Native Americans get reparations?
No.
You did? Yeah.
No. Our I think no.
That's what I wanted to say too, man. Everyone always says that we get government money.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought that y'all got government money. I thought that y'all got land.
Money. I got no land. I got no government money. We lease our own land.
Government cheese.
I have
We
land.
get government cheese.
Government cheese.
Commodity cheese.
Yeah, I have land, but no, we don't get any money.
But y'all got your own hospitals, right?
Yes.
Yep.
It's not.
But I mean, it's substandard from what I've heard. But
Yeah. Hospital health care under the treaties that we signed with the government, those were in exchange for peace. And our people signed those treaties because the United States needed to build infrastructure. You know, they need to build roads through Indian country. And in exchange for peace, our people signed those treaties saying that they would not fight anymore, but you will give us health care, you will give us education, you will take care of us. And, you know, it was kind of forced upon our people. So it's not something that they willingly signed. And treaties are the supreme law of the land, and they're still not respected or followed by the United States government.
how do Native Americans feel about American politics? We see what's going on with Hillary, Trump. Y'all definitely are never mentioned. They mention black, they mention Spanish, Latino. You never anything about Native Americans.
You know, right now with the Standing Rock tribe is fighting the Dakota Access Pipeline. The funders of this pipeline are major banks like Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, TD Bank, Compass Bank. There's just over 50 banks, as well as Sunoco and Marathon. And these politicians are also funded by the same banks and funders that are funding this oil pipeline. So you're not going to see a Hillary or a Trump talking about the current issues that's regarding environmental injustice or indigenous issues, because these banks are funding them. Now, Bernie Sanders is in solidarity with Standing Rock. Jill Stein from the Green Party, as a matter of fact, there was a warrant out for her arrest.
Really?
Because she was out there in Standing Rock with us. And so they're not going to talk about the things that are affecting indigenous people, because those funders they're funding them, especially Hillary and Trump. Yes. And then we also have Congress, or a soon congressman, we're going to put it into flourishing, of Chase Iron Eyes. He's Native American from Standing Rock, right?
Standing Rock.
And he is running for Congress. So we are going into politics, you know, as indigenous people.
One of the things that I wanted to say, being from Standing Rock, is that one of the primary purposes that we came here to be with you guys is that we need to have an alliance, because Native Americans and you all have the same history as us, and Native Americans are killed by cops at a phenomenal rate, more than any other population in the United States, but you don't hear about that. And Native Americans have the highest rate of entering the United States military than any other population, but you don't hear about that. So there is large disparities in the truth, in what we know to be true, what is the truth. And so one of the reasons that we wanted to come here and is to tell you the truth, and that we need an alliance. We come from the same history, and we need to use that. We need supporters. We need allies. We need people to use their voice to speak up for us, because what's happening out west with us you guys don't hear it here, but it's a real legitimate struggle. It's a war. It's these people coming in, stealing our land, our resources, and it's real. And the media is not covering it. So that's one of the reasons we came here. And I want to thank you guys personally for allowing us to voice our concerns here, because it is Indigenous Day. Horrible things happen to our people, but we acknowledge it. We acknowledge the trauma, and we learn from it, and we keep going, because our people were one of the only people that ever defeated the United States government at the Battle of Little Bighorn in 1876. And it was our people that did it. And if it wasn't for our grandfathers and our ancestors, we would not be here. So we're still here. And, you know, in New York City, wow, you know, we're here. And it's crazy. So, yeah, we were walking down Times Square, and Alicia Keys was there, and we just happened to walk upon it. And I was like, hey, you know, like, this is so cool. But, you know, I wanted to thank you guys, because seriously, it's a whole different world.
Does it
out
bother
there.
you when, like on Halloween, when people wear the Indian garb?
Yes.
The Indian hat? Does that
Yes.
bother you?
Yes,
Yeah,
because a lot of our outfits have meanings and sacred, and eagle feathers are sacred to us. And back home, we have a society called the Red Feather Society, and you're only allowed to wear an eagle feather if you went to war, like our uncles went to Vietnam or the Korean War and Afghanistan, Iraq, and you earn that feather. It's like a war deed that you did.
That's
And
like
so, yeah.
congressional- That's like wearing a Congressional Medal of Honor, and just because it looks good.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, when we see those outfits, that's not cool. It might look cute and think that, you know, you think you look cute in it, but it's offense.
Do you guys approach people?
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, there's over 500 federally recognized tribes in this country alone. Now, that's not including Mexico or Canada. In this country alone, there's over 500 different nations. That's 500 different languages. That's 500 different ceremonies. That's 500 different ways of how they're dressed. And to generalize us down into a Halloween costume of a headdress and some buckskin, portraying us like Pocahontas in little skimpy outfits, you know, that's disrespect to people who have fought and died for the resources of this country. And like she said, at Standing Rock, one of the biggest gatherings is happening ever since the Little Bighorn of Native nations, and we're fighting a pipeline that's trying to go underneath the Missouri and the Mississippi River. And this pipeline, if it leaks, all pipelines leak. If it leaks, it affects, you know, 18 million people. That's south of that river. And we're facing off every day in prayer and unarmed actions against North Dakota police, Morton County sheriffs, and against the National Guard. They've set up roadblocks outside of the reservation lines, and they've shut off roads to the reservation, to our reservation right now. There's a war happening right now.
In South Dakota?
Like she's like
North Dakota.
North
in
Dakota.
North Dakota. So like they said, you earn a feather in war. Those people out there are earning their feathers right now.
So do you when y'all run up on them, it's like some like what set you claim type stuff? You G-check them?
The war cries.
Yeah.
Like he was saying, you know, relatives, man, you know, what this water did, you know, because water is sacred, you know, the Kirirasitu, this mini Wachoni, we all need water, you know, and it's important for us, you know, for our children, you know, we come from water, you know, and so this water, this Kirirasitu, this Kitspatuksti Missouri River brought us all together, all people, you know, whether you're white, black, you know, red, brown, yellow, all of our relatives came together. And even tribes, you know, tribes that were, you know, like ancient enemies. Like me and my relative here, my brother here, Nataanii, you know, I'm Pawnee, he's Lakota. You know, traditionally we were battling it out.
Yeah.
Hundreds of years we went at. But then at the same time, back in those days, we had alliances. We became relatives and shared ceremonies. You know, and so what this river has done for us is it's allowed us to heal as a people. You know, because we come through historical trauma, but that river comes from historical love. You know, and that historical love is what's going to push us forward. And so me and my bro, you know, we're relatives now. We're brothers. You know, we have that commonality in battle. And so we're going to have that commonality in peace. You know, and through ceremony and prayer. You know, and that commonality in Indigenous hip hop, because we're both Indigenous hip hop artists.
Okay.
So we're using hip hop, you know, the birthplace of hip hop in the Bronx, you know, move through our lives as young Indigenous warriors. And so to be in New York, amongst all of our relatives, that love hip hop like we do, hip hop reached us in these small towns. And so we use hip hop as a tool, because people love it. We use it as a tool to tell our stories.
I see you got the drum there.
Yeah. We sing our native songs too.
Can we hear something?
We definitely gotta get one.
Yeah.
Listen, when y'all say y'all at war with the police, you mean?
Spiritual war.
We're at war with the government. We're at war with the police, the government, with just these bad entities that are supporting oil companies. We're at war with the oil companies. And when you go to North Dakota, you see how big oil controls this government. You see that they control the police. Citizens that the police are supposed to be protecting, they're arresting. September 3rd, we were attacked. They sicked attack dogs on us. And it's on video. Look at the Democracy Now!
Wow.
It's on video. We were there. All of us were there that day when they let attack dogs go on us.
For what? They just want the land?
Well, they were
Trying to build.
The oil pipeline.
You want to explain it?
They're trying to build the Dakota Access Pipeline. They're trying to build an oil pipeline from the Bakken region in North Dakota that will carry oil to Illinois, and it goes above. It's actually slated to be bored under the Missouri River, and it's on original treaty land that was established in 1851 to our people. And the plan initially called for it to be built north of Bismarck, North Dakota. But they said no, the people of Bismarck, because if there was a catastrophic failure of the pipeline, it would have contaminated the wellhead, the water supply for the people.
In Bismarck.
And so in Bismarck. So what they did next is let's move it down to the reservation. And so our people are expendable. Like we're talking about environmental justice. Our people are expendable, but yet they're not. So that's an issue and the police have been there, and they're there every single day, and you don't see about it in the media, and they're militarized. They have riot gear, armored vehicles, and our people are unarmed, and we're doing this in prayer, and we're doing it in a non-violent way. But any day something could happen. Any day something, it could be escalated.
I've always read that Native Americans experience the most police brutality out of any other race in the country.
They do.
And it's like a hidden stat because people just don't think about it, But that's what I heard.
That's why we say the genocide still continues. Everything from when Columbus landed. See, he was just the bad seed that planted the weed, and everything flourished after that. And because you celebrate, or not you guys personally, but because America recognizes, a genocidal maniac, that just proves how everything after that is okay. Everything, the stealing of our land, the pushing us on reservations, and then coming in now to take the resources that's discovered on those reservations, like in Oak Flat, like in the salmon in the rivers in California and Washington, like the pipelines that are happening, Oklahoma, the fracking
Great
that's
Plains
happening,
pipeline.
And the earthquakes that are happening now because of fracking. And we're not just Native Americans saying, oh, we love the land, oh, we love this and that, you need to be peaceful. We're saying no, the land is what's keeping us right now. My pops always said, you could take away the insects from the earth and nothing will live. You take away the four-legged and the winged beings and nothing will live. You take away everything green, nothing will live. You take away water, nothing will live. But you take away the human and everything will flourish. Everything will flourish. And so we are not important to this earth. We are not the top of the food chain or the top of the pyramid. We are at the bottom. You throw us naked in the forest in winter, you see who survives. So we are not. Just because we have thumbs and can think a little bit doesn't mean that we're at the top of the food chain.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
So this is really a human rights issue. This affects us all. And with this Dakota Access Pipeline, if it is built, it's going to affect not just only the Missouri River, but the 200 rivers that are surrounding that area. So if for those that would like to help and be a part of in solidarity, please go to standingrock.org. And we are also putting together a benefit concert because these companies are really trying to drain the tribe. And I want to acknowledge the Standing Rock Sioux tribe in regards to honoring the treaties and using those same treaties right back in the face of this government. And so we are raising money for their legal fund, November 26th in Standing Rock, North Dakota at Prairie Casino. And so we would love to invite you, Prairie Nights Casino, we would love to invite you all to come. We'll do a concert as well as a roundtable discussion. And as well as they're looking into alternative energy, which we all need to be looking
Absolutely.
into alternative energy.
All right, let's end with some song, man. I want to hear some of this indigenous hip hop.
Yeah, here we go. It's a tribal song. And then
It's tribal song.
What's the name of it?
This is a war dance song.
Okay.
This is our people, man.
So it's like future stick talk.
Our people are warriors, man.
Is it Pawnee song?
Definitely not
Pawnee and
future.
Lakota.
Can we also have Nataanii share something? Because, you know, they're both native hip hop.
Okay.
Is huge.
It's real.
It's real.
It's the real.
And he is the son of Russell Means, the founder of the American Indian Movement, a fearless leader, phenomenal leader. And so I would love for him to share.
Yeah. I could do I'll do like something.
You got bars? What y'all call them? What y'all call them in Native American bars? You got bars?
I'll do like a little like a poetry thing I
Okay.
wrote, man. I wrote this when I was in college. Okay, so it's like, you see, I'm trying to make it known that my people are not extinct. Survived genocide for 500 years, so you better rethink your question when you ask if all we do is drink. We come from proud people that once roamed free, matrilineal societies before all the disease lies in the greed. I'm trying to free the mind state of reservation prisms. Our elders are dying and we don't even know how to listen. Rejecting our own traditions, well, because why? The white man says it's better to be a Christian. Look at how we're living. Look at all our children. We still live inside barbed wire fences. Now tell me that ain't a prison. All over the country, our women go missing. Once we were millions, now we're a 1%. You know how it feels to be a 1%? While they're out there on 9/11 screaming, don't forget, I'm thinking about 1492 when they were lost on those ships. I'm thinking about Tecumseh. I'm thinking about Sand Creek. I'm thinking about the Treaty of 1868 and Wounded Knee. I'm thinking about Manuelito, Crazy Horse in Seattle. I'm thinking about the Buffalo and the last Indian battles. Now look into my eyes and tell me you don't see genocide, because I swear I've had dreams of watching my people die. We're the 7th generation, a nation rising on those reservations, here to bring pride to our people and justice for the ones on the inside. Because on a daily basis, we're just fighting to survive. This is me, Nataanii Means, Sindeganga, Wakialuzahan. That's 3 different nations' names. See, I'm a threat with the memory of aim in my veins, and I'll bleed so you can see that my blood quantum is not my identity. And we'll fight for a way of life, and we're all fighting until we're free.
My man.
With y'all.
All right.
Envy, Charlamagne, can I get one?
I ain't got no bars, bro. My bars been extinct.
When I sit with my pen and pad and my cedar and sage, dropping this world upon life when I turn this page of life being a native but a stranger in your own land is something that I just don't understand. We were forced from our homes when our population diminished. They wanted to exterminate the Indian and make the Indian finished. We used to roam the plains freely, the mountains and the canyons, the desert swamps, coastline until the eastern man landed. A Bible in one hand, a rifle in another, saying now shall believe what we do or die like your brother. Forced religion, forced ways, forced out of our land, but not forced without a fight, every woman and man. But then women, elders and children were massacred, protecting each other when the soldiers ambushed while the warriors were away talking peace with the government. But that's how they were. They always had the broken covenant. These are the tales of fears that we don't learn in school, but I felt for years these trails of tears run parallel to my dirt road. But it hurts though, knowing the struggle of my people carried over to this 2016 sequel. But it's okay, because we survived. All clans, nations, and tribes, and together we can stand as one, because we lasted through oppression and last stands. We fought too long and hard to die by our own hands. We once moved like the wind and walked a spiritual path. Though minorities of minorities, we still know how to laugh. From genocide, boarding schools, and third world reservations, may those who don't know start the reconciliation.
All right. There you have
Happy
it.
National Indigenous People Day, y'all.
There you go. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club. Every weekday morning. Tune in.